Hi friends, it's Paul Ward and welcome to another On the Road. Have you ever been to a restaurant, a scratch-cooked restaurant that has a combination bike shop inside? Well, I have not until today, but there is a place in Old Town Calabasas called Pedalars Fork, and who better to talk to than the general manager, than Gideon Kleinman. Gideon, welcome to On the Road.
Thank you.
So tell us, Gideon, how did this place come to be? It's such an unusual combination, or unique combination.
You forgot to add yoga studio. There's yoga studio, full working bike shop, bar, restaurant. We roast our own coffee up there. So we got quite a bit going on.
You got a lot going on.
The original idea came from myself and Robbie Schaefer, good friend. We wanted to make honestly, like a bike shop and beer garden kind of combo. We wanted to, we have such great weather here. I was born in Germany, and we definitely love having a beer and riding our bikes. And we thought, why not, make a place where we could have those original, those two kind of components. And then it grew after finding this space into, a full restaurant and all these other components. But that was really it, to do a place to share a beer and sit with friends and meet together pre-ride, post-ride, meet family, a little bit of everything. Really just a community hangout.
So did it start as a little beer garden and you guys were buying beer? Were you making your own batches, or how did it come to be?
No, I mean, we never quite, as much as we wanted it to be just that sort of, like this velo pub kind of thing. We originally found this space and we loved the area from riding bikes in the area so much. And it was a full service restaurant. The liquor license and many of the, legalities of the space were tied to the fact that it had to stay a full service restaurant. And so we took that on, and we knew we wanted to serve coffee because coffee and cycling go hand in hand. And we knew someone up in the Pacific Northwest who had started a brand called 10 Speed Coffee. And we went up there and visited and loved it. And we knew we wanted that as a component of it. And so teamed up with him for a little bit, kind of made a deal to purchase his original roaster, and then just started roasting coffee too, and it kind of just grew from there. Like I said, the bike shop and everything opened up basically as you see it today.
And you called it Pedalars Fork from the get-go?
Yeah, Pedalars Fork is the umbrella, everything under this roof, and then there's 10 Speed Coffee, which are coffee shops. We have a standalone coffee counter here, as well as soon to be 3 other standalone locations.
So folks could come in, get coffee, get breakfast, lunch, brunch even, dinner.
Huge brunch on the weekends. Wednesday through Saturday, we do dinner service. You can come and do whatever you want. That's really our goal. Like, come and have the experience and have just a cup of black coffee. Come buy an expensive bottle of wine, get your bike worked on. There's times when there's people on a date or a graduation dinner and people are returning from a mountain bike ride. So it's a mixed up place, and that's how we want it. And yeah, and if you don't like it, you don't need to come, but most people like it,
Right.
It's kind of fun. Everyone, cycling for many, many years, largest sport in the world. Tour de France is still the largest sporting event.
I didn't know that.
By far. Any single day of the tour, there can be over 1 million people on the side of the roads watching the Tour de France. So if you take a month of that, it's much bigger than an Olympics, or much bigger than the stadiums of a World Cup or something like that. And so everyone, for the most part, knows someone who rides bikes, and in the early 1900s, cycling in the United States was much bigger even than, like baseball and stuff like that. During World War I and World War II, bike rides basically went away. All the manufacturers went to wartime efforts, and, now it seems a little lesser known, but I think everyone can kind of relate. Everyone rides a bike, not necessarily as crazy as we are about it.
And you have a serious bike shop.
Serious bike shop.
You don't have Huffies and Schwens and...
No, we are a enthusiast shop, a boutique store. We can sell all ranges and costs of bike, but for the most part, it is a high-end boutique for people who are really into doing road, gravel, mountain riding.
So you have specific brands that you and your partner like, and that's what you
Exactly. Yeah, we sell Moots, titanium brand from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We've sold that since we've opened, and then we also sell Specialized bikes. That's a big brand everyone would,
Right.
would relate to.
And what about combination of the new e-bike versus, I guess, manpower or whatever you want, a traditional bike?
So we do a little bit of both. I would say we're definitely a little bit more on the traditional side. We love the sport. You work your way up, and you earn it going down to a
Right.
great degree. E-mountain bikes are something that has really changed the landscape because, the big bike that's really fun to ride downhill is not so fun to pedal uphill. And now you have this thing where, you can get the motor, have the assistant, and do more of what you really love, which is, the technical descents and things like that. So those are very popular.
The kids are almost riding these, they almost look like motorcycles. They're on the sidewalks.
Yeah, so a lot of those are probably going to be illegal in California pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the rules around like class 2 bicycles or electric class 2 bikes was made a little vague, I believe. And so, you have these things that basically are electric dirt bikes, and they go like 60 and they're super dangerous. And yeah, we don't get into all that. Not even to mention most of the components are closer to motorcycle components than they are to bicycle components. So we just can't even really work on them. They're fun. They have a place. It's just not necessarily our thing.
Sure. And the technology of bikes has changed radically. I mean, the braking systems,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
is just so different than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we got into it, even, we've been 11 years here. We all rode on the road, 23 millimeter tires, aluminum wheels, rim brakes, tubes in your tires. And now everything is big tires, disc brakes, tubeless, just like what would be on your car. And, a lot's changed. Still basically do the same thing, and that's kind of what's always great about about the bike is that it's so simple. And so many of these industries, I think, have added a little bit of complexity, maybe on the marketing side, or on the ability to increase costs potentially. But disc brakes are amazing, so I can't really say. And electronic shifting is amazing,
Right.
So
Right.
we love it, and times change and the industry changes, and we do too. So my bike has disc brakes and electronic shifting and tubeless tires and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely reap the benefits of it as well.
Yep. Let's talk food. You have quite the menu. You've got a tres leches French toast. You got ahi poke nachos and something called the Calibastard
Yep.
cocktail.
If we're talking about the menu, I would say we are a California comfort. Basically everything in this restaurant is cooked from scratch, from aiolis to sauces. There's a small freezer that holds ice cream, and other than that, you're eating it. It was made here. The burger is grass-fed beef that's ground in-house almost every day sometimes. And I think we have something for everyone. We definitely try to make it so that, most of the vegetable dishes and plant-based items are just that. They are almost all fully vegan. But we have a competition-style smoker, and we do brisket and wings, and pulled pork sandwiches, and so I think it's really everything. You can eat super clean, super healthy if you want, and you can have fried chicken.
Right.
So
And a lot of it's locally sourced.
a great deal of it is locally sourced. This is an industry that becomes more and more challenging, and we did go through COVID. COVID saw a lot of the smaller scale vendors fall by the wayside. And also a lot of the larger distributors pick up more small scale vendors. So just because, you're seeing it coming from one of the bigger companies doesn't mean that they aren't working hand in hand, maybe with a smaller farm.
Right.
But, yeah, we try as much as possible, to get things obviously that aren't traveling all the way around the world,
Right.
But we are a big full service restaurant. We'll feed sometimes 500-600 plus people in a day.
Oh, wow.
Saturdays from start to finish is probably easily over 600.
That's
so, and they're full meals. You know, it's not fast food. It's sit down, have a burger, have a steak, have a great salad, a piece of salmon.
And I imagine the menus kind of changed over time, over your 11 years, just kind of trying out new things and whatever the trends are.
We've had a few items that, that have stayed on the menu since day one. But I would say a lot of what we do is experiment, run things as specials, let the customers, tell you what they want. That would be my approach to it. Like, whether I like it, it doesn't matter all that much. I'm not the one that has to eat it every day. We all like to have our say, but I don't know. We're a local restaurant. Look, we gotta listen to our regulars and adapt and change and do what they want. There's no sense in, fighting something because you want it that way. That's just not the restaurant we are.
Right. And not everybody that comes in rides a bike.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's probably only 10%. And if you look at, it's really hard to tell because a lot of our customers, I think, are cyclists, but many times when they come in here, they're not in their gear. Right. So, again, you might have your doctor, your lawyer, your dentist could be a cyclist. You might never know it, you know?
Right.
And so we do get large groups, and we've held training camps and things like that here. On a day-to-day basis, we're a neighborhood restaurant, and some days seems like there's a ton of cyclists, and other days you wouldn't tell,
Yeah. And you've got yoga going on?
We had a small private dining room upstairs. We kind of ping-ponged some ideas around, and then a local person who we've known through the restaurant for many years, said, hey, what a great space it would be. And both Robbie and I have done yoga for many, many years, and we said, let's give it a whirl, And so she runs that, and we have classes every day, and people do private lessons. I take a Wednesday morning class, and it's cool. You get to see people coming and going. There's a lot of athletes, professional athletes that live in the area, and so a lot of the LA Rams come here. And
they take yoga?
Yeah. Plenty of them. So Pam both teaches classes privates at people's homes and in other gyms and facilities around here. But there's also a lot of them that'll come here and do their classes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of neighborhood events. You've got farmers market every week. There's, I guess, bike races even occasionally.
So we used to have farmers market's been a staple. That's just here nonstop every Saturday. Big crowds and the hustle and the bustle and everything like that. And so we've had that since we've opened. Tour of California, the bike race that used to exist, used to come through here very close and did some famous stages that finished out in Amgen in Newberry Park area. But that one unfortunately is no longer. So yeah.
So you have a coffee roasting company called 10 Speed Coffee that you've teamed up with.
Yeah, so we are 10 Speed Coffee.
Oh, okay.
It originally started up in Hood River, Oregon, with a buddy of ours, and in the process, we agreed. We did a purchase, and we purchased his roaster, and we made an agreement that he would have all his territory in Oregon and his existing locations, and we would be able to grow the company, use the name, run the website, all that kind of stuff like that.
And it's small batch, and it's
small batch, craft roasted. We do 5 kilos at a time, which is the basically smallest commercial style drum roaster. And it right now satisfies this location as well as our Santa Monica, our Sawtell, and soon to be Frogtown coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
And
so 10 Speed's got coffee shops, but Pedalars Fork has one location.
Yeah, there's a 10 Speed inside Pedalars Fork, but there's also lone 10 Speeds.
Gotcha.
And so those are just real traditional coffee shops. They have little nods to kind of what it looks like in here, and our brand. It's definitely a family So they interplay. We deliver coffee from here to those locations. And yeah, we're just trying to roast really high-end coffee.
What's the connection between coffee and cycling?
Cycling's European. Cafe culture is bigger. Cycling, at least as we know it, the racing style is French and Italian, and cafe culture is just a huge part of it. Caffeine obviously is a big part in cycling, and meeting really early in the morning, and so many times the only places that are open are coffee shops. And so it's just a good place to have a cup of coffee, get a little caffeine, get a little boost, warm yourself up, and get out on the road.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so that's always been this tie together, and mid-ride, if you want to stop, take a load off, get a little bite of something sweet for some sugar and an espresso shot, and go finish up your effort.
It's awesome. So not for our audience that's, nationwide, worldwide, where exactly are we?
Okay, so we are in Calabasas. We are in the northwest corner of the San Fernando Valley. This is the home of Kim Kardashian. Everyone, has probably heard that name. And they've lived here, in this area for many, many years. And basically, if you're on the 101 freeways heading up towards, Santa Barbara or NorCal, we are pretty much the last stop that is truly still Los Angeles.
Before you hit the next county?
Yeah,
Ventura
you're
County.
very quickly would be into Ventura County. And technically, once you pass us, you start kind of climbing up the hill and you're heading over into the Conejo Valley as opposed to the San Fernando Valley. So if you jump right over the hill from us through one of the canyons, you'd be in the beginning parts of Malibu. And the canyon right behind us is Topanga Canyon. That's had tons of 60s bands and tons of LA kind of music lore that has lived in there from
A lot of history there.
lot of history there. So that's kind of where, we're in a really unique spot. It starts to get a little bit more rural or naturey. I think a lot of people about LA don't realize that there's mountains and nature and coyotes everywhere.
Right.
And you can you can be up in the roads and canyons from the Sunset Strip to Malibu to the super high-end areas in the San Fernando Valley, and then eventually work your way to the other side, and there's mountains everywhere. It's
A great place to ride a bicycle.
amazing place to ride a bicycle. We have if you factor the weather in, it's one of the best places in the world. And even without the weather, what you can do in terms of a competitive road and mountain or gravel style racing and training is almost unmatched anywhere. We get professionals from all over the world who will come here to train, and have Garrett Thomas trained here the winter before he won the Tour de France, and we got to ride with Garrett and spend some time with him. And there's a local legend, Dave Zabriskie, who's lived in the area, one of the most famous American cyclists, a good buddy of ours. It's unbelievable. I know we take it for granted. We travel to other places and people say, oh, you got to ride here, you got to ride there. And a lot of times when we get there, we're,
Wish I was home.
kind of realize it's a little nicer here at home.
Not raining.
Yeah, or then it's colder or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
Totally get that. So do you guys have groups that come that ride?
we don't sponsor a particular group. There is a Thursday evening mountain bike ride called Riding Pint that leaves from here. As the name would illustrate, you go ride, return, have a pint, have dinner.
You got the coffee people and you got the pint people.
Yeah,
You got them both.
exactly.
You got them both covered.
And if your ride's long enough, you have both.
Right.
You for sure should have both. And then there's a Wednesday morning group ride. It's called Wednesday Worlds. That's there's a Wednesday World that exists in every big city for the most part. And it's just a competitive, fast road ride. They leave from here at 8:30 in the morning, come back, hang out, decided who was the world champion for this week, and, probably then head off to work.
Very cool. So it's probably like a 2 hour thing then for those guys.
Yeah, something like that. It's there's rides all over the city. Saturdays we get tons of people. Where we're located, we get a lot of people from the west side, from Santa Monica area, and we're more their mid-ride to sort of three-quarter ride spot, because all they need to do is jump over one canyon and head home. So the bulk of the ride's probably finished, and this is kind of where they just want to chill and get a little more energy and then head back to Santa Monica.
What's the typical distance for these rides? I mean, I'm sure it varies, but just kind of like, is it 20 miles, 50 miles?
I'd say 30 to 50 is pretty typical. Around here, with all how mountainous it is, you can do some of the the hardest rides and then look down and realize you're like 12 miles in, you know?
Right.
Especially when you get into the dirt. When you get into the dirt, your speed drops. The climbs take forever. And yeah, 2.5 hours and you've barely covered any distance.
Right.
But the effort was incredibly challenging. And again, we get people that come to here from all over the United States, and I meet them in the mornings and they tell me about their grand plans for, oh, I'm going to do this canyon and this and that and that. And I just grin and say,
Good luck.
yeah, you're going to get passed by an out of shape looking local on a climb. And you let me know what you did when you come back here and you're all having lunch and rethinking your plans for tomorrow, because it's just it's up or down. That's all we do here.
Right. So did you guys have a particular theme in mind when you transformed it from the original restaurant to today?
Yeah, so the original restaurant was massively in need of renovation. It had been a restaurant for many years and then briefly got taken over by someone before it was up for us to lease it. And we completely rebuilt the building. Just an old building, need a lot of love. We had some inspiration from different places that we'd been to just over the years, great places up in San Francisco and different restaurants around here. And we wanted to maximize the patio. We wanted something that was really durable and timeless. Yeah, kind of like this. We worked with a really awesome architecture firm and a few designers, but a lot of it was just references and things. I went to art center for graduate school, and so a good amount of it, we kind of joked, like we would send PDFs over to our designers and people, and what they would send us back is about a C- from what we had sent them. And so a lot of it, we just kind of said, like, just go for that, you know?
Did you add all the glass, or was that just lucky?
We added everything.
Wow.
So basically, the front facade of the building is considered Old Town Calabasas, and there are style guidelines, and we kept that the same. And then everything from the back, we changed. What we wanted is that big indoor-outdoor feeling. Where in LA can you be dine next to a creek?
Right.
And it is a natural creek. It does flow into Calabasas Lake, which is not supernatural, but then it starts in a natural spot, and we have water running year round. It is the Topanga Headlands, and there are creeks that always flow, out of that. I think the look and the feel was just supposed to be comfortable, comfortable, rustic, a little industrial,
very inviting.
Yeah, very, very inviting is the term. And basically the way you see it, we've never really remodeled out here. After 11 years, we've done basically floors, metals, woods, everything is pretty much the same.
Yeah, you've got a mix of the old and the new in here.
On the wall, we've done a small selection of some art from Brian Hodes. He's a very famous cycling photographer, and we love those things. We've got some signed jerseys and different little pieces of cycling memorabilia. We framed some of the most famous component sets, Shimano 25th anniversary, Campagnolo 50th anniversary, and then I believe they did a 80th anniversary, which is the carbon fiber one. So it's kind of cool to see, like 3 different generations of a truly old set, kind of the set that was popular when we really got into riding, and then almost a very contemporary version, of it. And so we made those shadow boxes, I guess, and hung them up. And there's some of the favorite things for people to stare at. And I've never seen like a bike shop owner or enthusiast not basically quiz me, where'd you get that? How did you make that? Where can I buy that, to see that? And I'll say, hey, just one, you got to find the parts. They're not easy to find. And two, go frame it yourself. That's
Right.
exactly what we did. And we do have some cool bikes. There's a place called Velo Pasadena. Good buddy of ours has an amazing collection. And if you know him well and the price is right, he will even sell you a bike or two. And so we bought a 7-Eleven bike, famous team. The Greg LeMond rode on that team. And these others, this is a Colnago and a Mossy. Both of those were restored, and the paint job is a Joe Bell paint job. Very famous. Again, this has a really parts correct restoration of a Campagnolo Delta group. And at the end is a Scapine, is just a very lesser known Italian bike that you've almost never seen. The Mossy has wooden rims,
Really?
which is kind of cool. And yeah, we
pretty
just
cool.
I don't know. That's our decor, our art. I don't want to ride them. We bring them down every once in a while, clean them up. I do like a loop in the parking lot, and then I said, let me get back on my regular modern bike.
Gotta keep those wood rims intact.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's always our thing. And our guiding principle has so much of just saying we're going to be here all the time. Like, we want it like this. And if you don't care about the cycling stuff, then it's just a fun theme and you can disregard it. And if you care about it, but there's so many restaurants and places that look the same and have olive trees, and this one's Mediterranean and this one's that. And, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I want to look at our bikes.
Well, and that's why we're here talking to you. We want to talk to the normal.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's so many different places you can go in a city like LA. And so I say, come check this place out once in a while. It's different. Go do a hike, go to a ride, come for brunch or dinner, pony up to the bar. The beer selection is great. And check out these kooky dudes
We're very passionate about it.
Yeah, we're very passionate about it. And you'll probably meet one of us because we're always here.
And good food.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Gideon Kleinman, thank you so much for being our guest on this edition of On the Road. We've appreciated having you and learning all about Pedalars Fork and everything that you've created.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Opus Escrow, and be sure to tune in next time for the next On the Road.